Welcome to the Flora Sage Podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. In today's podcast episode, I am going to share with you what the 6 types of clutter are and how they're impacting your life. So what are these 6 types of clutter? Number 1, environmental clutter. 2, body clutter. 3, mental and emotional clutter. 4, digital clutter and hoarding. 5, daily clutter. And 6, financial clutter. I discuss this in length in my book, so I'm not going to rehash what I've already said in the book. I highly encourage you to go grab it, but today we're going to look at what this clutter is and how it is specifically holding you back the most. So the first one is environmental clutter. These are things in your immediate surroundings, and they impact your ability to focus and to fully show up in your life. Now, the 80-20 rule absolutely applies here. So if you don't know what that is, it's said that we use 20% of our things 80% of the time. So theoretically, you could remove 80% of the things in your environment, and theoretically, you wouldn't really miss it. Now, the second type is body clutter. This is being overweight. This is binging. This is not working out. This is not moving your body regularly, not tuning into and listening to the cues that your body is giving you. Mental and emotional clutter is stress, anxiety, avoidance. Do you have decision fatigue? All of this stems from mental and emotional clutter. Digital clutter and hoarding. How many emails do you have in your inbox? How many photos do you have on your phone? How many apps do you have that you never ever use? How many notifications do you get every single day? This is all types of digital clutter and digital hoarding that cause us so much mental exhaustion. Now, we also have daily clutter. This is your written to-do list and your silent to-do list. So a few months ago, we looked at our busy, paying attention to our busy and all the things that we choose to have on our plate. This is the daily clutter. So what is your to-do list and what is your silent to-do list? The to-do list is all those things that you literally physically write down. Oh, I need to go grocery shopping and this is what I need, and I need to get an oil change, and I need to do this and that and everything else. The silent to-do list is all the stuff that you see in your home that is saying, oh, hey, don't forget about me. You see that pile of laundry that is on your silent to-do list. You see that blanket that's unfolded and you're thinking, oh, I need to fold that blanket. You see all of the books that are sitting on the bookshelf and you think, oh, I really need to start reading again. You see that puzzle that's half done. Oh, I really need to do that. And all of these silent to-dos weigh you down. Financial clutter. This is not knowing where your money goes, being financially illiterate and overspending, spending money that you don't have on credit cards that are maxed out. So I want you to ask yourself, which one do you feel that you have the best handle on? And which one do you feel is the most overwhelming? Now, in all the years that I've been coaching people, the number one stressor of people is that they say, I just don't have time to do the things that I really want to do. And so we look at their clutter that they have in their life that is really stopping you from getting what you want. Because ultimately you ask yourself, where am I at today? Where do I want to be? And what's one thing that I can do to get there? Well, typically people say, well, I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because I don't have enough time. I can't do that because I don't have enough money. I can't do that because of whatever. And so that is the clutter that we are eliminating through this process. And one of the most impactful exercises that I've brought my clients through over the years is first tackling the environmental clutter. Now, the environmental clutter is something that literally is impacting you on a moment-to-moment basis wherever you are at in your home, in your vehicle, and in your office. Because, again, if you have to move something out of the way in order to get to that thing that you want, you're wasting time. Everything in your home requires you to manage it. Every pot, every pan, every dish, every towel, every blanket, every piece of clothing, everything in your home requires you to manage that particular thing. So the less things that you have in your home, the less that you have to manage, which therefore, in turn, gives you your time back. Now, next week, we are going to showcase Rebecca, which is one of our VIP members inside of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe. She's been coaching with me for several years, and she was having breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, but she still seemed to be just a little bit stuck. Now, she was in moving mode for about 3 years. She had purchased a home. It was a fully furnished home, so she basically had 2 households full of stuff in one home. And she was finally able to clear out all the clutter, clear out all the excess, and her life is completely transformed because of it. And so when someone comes to me and they're feeling overwhelmed and they're like, Flora, I don't have enough time to do this. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I just don't know where to start. And I'm like, I got you. I got you. I've been there. I've done that. And I got the t-shirt to prove it. And then I gave the t-shirt to Goodwill. But allowing yourself to recognize that you can truly have and take your life back by removing the excess from your life and decluttering that truly is the first step. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, know that you are not alone. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the 6 types of clutter. And we're going to keep touching back on the environmental clutter, because environmental clutter, like I said, is truly the one that makes the biggest impact and packs the biggest punch when you reduce the amount of items in your home. Basically, it's inventory. Everything in your home is inventory that you have to manage on a day-to-day basis. All the kids' clothes, all of your clothes, the laundry, everything. Literally, look around your home right now. Everything requires your time for it to be maintained. Again, understanding that we use 20% of our things 80% of the time, this is a huge eye-opener for so many people. And I really, truly encourage you to test this out. And how you can test it out is using your clothing. So take your clothes and flip the hangers backwards so that they're kind of facing the wrong way. And then put some type of marker at one side of your, rack. And then when you wear a piece of clothing and wash it, put it on the other side. And only put the clothes that you've just worn on the other side of that hanger or that marker. So by the end of 6 months or by the end of 3 months, or even by the end of a year, you're going to see all the clothes that you've worn. You're also going to see all the clothes that you haven't worn. Another thing is all the pots and pans, all the hygiene stuff, all the makeup. This is another thing that when you look at what you actually use and what you never use, we're opening up a giant can of worms here, people. I literally have 30,000 people following me on TikTok just for my decluttering stuff. And I've been doing this since 1997. So I'm trying to keep this as contained as possible. But I totally geek out on decluttering. And the reason being, like I said, is for the last 24 years, I've been helping people get their lives back. And yes, I'm a life coach. Yes, I'm a business coach. Yes, I am a financial coach. I wear many hats, but everything always goes back to the personal development thing. And everything always goes back to your environment. If you're trying to build a business and you have laundry staring you in the face when you're sitting at the table trying to do your work, you're not going to be able to be productive in your business. I call this the laundry factor. If you're trying to have an intimate, session with your partner, but you've got books stacked up all over your bedroom and you've got your laptop staring you in the face and the TV blaring and you've got all this laundry, you're not going to be able to really get into the mood and be fully present with them. There's going to be all of those silent to-dos sitting here in the back of your head, and we wonder why we feel like, why does it feel like this is just something to just check off my list when I'm being intimate with my partner? This stuff matters. It truly, truly matters. And also, the more that we look at how much time we feel we don't have, and that truly is that time deficit, when you realize, well, what is my busy? What does occupy my time? And you start paying attention to it, typically you're shuffling stuff around your home. So many people try to organize before they declutter, and you're really just moving piles. Another thing is the body clutter, where I've got to go to the bathroom, but I'm just going to spend 5 more minutes doing this. Or you forget to eat and you're not paying attention to the cues that your body is giving you. And because of all the stuff that you have in your home, because you're ignoring what your body is saying, you're starting to get mentally and emotionally tired and exhausted and frustrated. And one of the ways that you can clear out the mental and emotional clutter is to seek out a trusted advisor or a coach or a therapist and bring support into your life. A fabulous book is called How to Be an Adult by David Rico. It's an amazing, amazing book about how to integrate psychological and spiritual aha moments in your life and to really create that breakthrough of integrating the psychological aspect of yourself and the spiritual aspect of yourself. And one of the things that I always say is that personal and spiritual development always impact your business and always impact how you show up at your workplace, whether you own a business or not, and also how you show up with your partner, with your kids, with your people in your life, and with yourself. So the mental and emotional clutter is huge, but kind of swinging back around to the body clutter thing is that when we feel overwhelmed and stressed out by the amount of stuff that we typically have higher cortisol levels. Science says that our senses scan our environment 400 billion times a second. And to me, that is just unfathomable. I'm like, how on earth is that even possible? But it's not just our eyes. It's our eyes, our ears, our smell, our taste, our senses like our skin. Literally, it's taking in all of this information. And our reticular activating system, I'm kind of getting a little bit in depth here, but our reticular activating system in our brain actually filters out or tries to filter out the things that we tell it are important and the things that aren't important to us. And when we have a ton of visual stuff in our environment, what happens is that visual clutter actually increases the level of cortisol that we have. And so the more cortisol that we have, which is our stress hormone, the more that we ignore our body because we're constantly feeling stressed out. And what do we do when we're stressed out? We probably eat more. We sleep more. We dive down social media more. We numb out. We do avoidance patterns. And because we feel so exhausted, and that's one of the reasons why, is because the more cortisol you have in your body, the more stress hormone, the less likely you're going to have the energy to want to declutter and to do all the other things. And so allowing yourself to recognize all these types of clutter and how they're impacting your life is huge. It's huge. So today, I want you to just entertain the idea of what would your life look like if you didn't have to, if you literally had just 20% of the stuff in your home that you do now. Now, for some people, this freaks them out because they're like, well, I really like my stuff. If you like your stuff, you're good, perfect. But if you are that percentage of people who, when you come home, all of a sudden you feel this burden of like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to do. Well, here. So one of the things that I always tell people is think about your last vacation, or, think about the last time that you were away from your home. And I want you to think about what it felt like as you were approaching your home. So you just left, you packed your bag, you were gone for a week, let's just say. And as you come home, typically you're excited about certain things. Maybe you're excited to see your cat or your dog or your parrot or your ferret or whatever pets you have at home. Maybe it was a family trip, so everybody came with you. So of course you're excited to be with your family, but now you're excited to be at home. What excites you about your home? Now the second thing that I want you to think about is what feels exhausting. What do you dread when you come home? Do you dread pile of dishes that you left in the sink before you left? Did you leave things undone that now you're like, oh, I need to do this? And like those things that you are dreading are the things that really need to be addressed. And a lot of the time, it is this environmental clutter that is weighing you down. How free do you feel when you're on vacation? You literally have a bag or 2 or 3. You bring just what you need. And yes, when you're at a hotel, when you're wherever, yes, they have the coffee maker if you drink coffee or tea, and they've got the restaurant, so you don't have to worry about cooking. They have the bed, but you don't have all the frivolous extras. And yes, sometimes those frivolous extras, if we use them often, are absolutely worth having a space in our home. But when it comes time to do the things that we want to do, but we can't do them because we have no time freedom, that's where we need to address. That's where we need to look at and say, okay, how can I reduce these types of clutter that are in my life so that I can finally have time to do the things that I want to do? Like I said, in the next episode after this, you're going to hear Rebecca talk about how she has truly gotten her life back by decluttering her home. Now, we worked together for several years before this, working on some of her mental and emotional clutter, her body clutter, digital clutter, daily clutter. But this is just one of the things that we were working on coaching and things together before this. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the tipping point. Now, I've also had more clients than not start with the environmental clutter. And that's where I recommend everyone start. So if you feel time poor, if you feel like you just don't have enough time in your life to do the things you want to do, pick a drawer, pick your makeup, pick your silverware drawer, pick your junk drawer, pick something, pick a hot spot in your home where there's, paper clutter, or pick the laundry. And start to just declutter and make it a point of saying, do I love this? Do I need this? Do I use this? Another thing that I also share with my clients is if your house was on fire and you could only fill up like one truck, what would you pick? And you had like 20 minutes, what would you grab? Right there, you'd be like, oh my gosh, well, I'd grab my laptop, I'd grab my clothes, I would grab my hygiene kit, I'd grab my blanket because it's my fabulous blanket, it's my favorite. I would grab the, clock that my son made for me. I would grab, what else would you, and like literally those are those most important things. And when you can look at and differentiate what your favorite things are that you use over and over and over and over and over again, and then those things that you never use, but you have just in case, which I've got a whole nother episode planned about the just in case items. And well, when I declutter something, I always end up, needing it. And so I'm not going to declutter. I have another episode coming about that as well because it's so important. But right now, just really look at, what are your favorites? And those things that you haven't used in years, give yourself permission to start to pare down those particular things. Now, one of the things that I've created in my community to help do all of this decluttering is I've created these monthly virtual decluttering days. Now, these events I've actually hosted privately for my private clients since 1997. I've done them in person. I've done them online as soon as I went online, which was in about 2009. But I've been doing these for the past 20 years, actually more than that. It's been since 1997, so 24 years now. And this truly has been the biggest shift in my client's life because when they get rid of that extra, they finally feel like they have their life back, and they finally feel like they have the time freedom and the mental capacity and the mental space to finally do the things that they want to do, to finally do those things. So there's a couple of quotes that I want to share with you today. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our life. That is by Annie Dillard. And the next one is, clutter is just a museum of shit that you thought would make you happy. Oh, there's another one. So that was anonymous. And then the last one is by Joshua Becker, who's a minimalist. And he says, picture your dream home. I bet it's not filled with clutter. So today, give yourself permission to just take out one drawer or look at your closet and just remove 10 pieces of things that you know you haven't used. Look through your spatula drawer. How many spatulas do you have? How many whisks do you have? Remove some of the multiples and see what it feels like to put them in a box to donate. See what it feels like to start to reduce some of the inventory. And if you're feeling overwhelmed with this, I got you. We have a virtual decluttering day every single month. So click the link in the show notes to check out when our next virtual decluttering day is. And if you're a VIP member in the 1 Degree Shift Tribe, this is a perk. This is one of the bonuses that you get as a VIP. You not only get access to our monthly virtual decluttering days, but you also get access to our VIP lounge, where you get extra coaching and extra support in between our virtual decluttering days, which is so incredibly amazing. So what are these virtual decluttering days? Well, these virtual decluttering days are where we literally declutter your home. So you can pick one or more spaces in your home to declutter, and we set the intention. We get really clear about the tools that you need, which is literally just trash bags and boxes, some snacks, and it's 8 hours. You don't have to stay for the entire time. I do that so that there's a big enough window for people to pop in and pop out. You can take a break, you can go to lunch, you can go to breakfast, you can go to dinner, and you are decluttering with a group of people. Everyone is there and everyone is decluttering something. Some people just focus on paperwork. Some people will focus on the garage. Some people on their bedrooms or their kitchens or whatever. And the transformations are incredible. And the cool thing about this, and I love this event, because you can ask me your questions in real time. You're like, okay, Flora, I've got these 3 purses and I'm really torn between which one to keep. And then we talk about it. Or I've got sentimental clutter. I'm torn. Let's talk about, and I coach you. I support you. I give you tips and tricks, and I give you ideas, and I give you examples of things from previous clients. But specifically, I give you specific coaching and specific support based on what you are doing in the moment. So, I mean, this is absolutely just invaluable, because what happens is where you once felt stuck and overwhelmed, you now have that support. You now have that momentum of the group helping you declutter and clear your space of stuff that is robbing you of your time, of your attention, and of your money. So how is it robbing you of your money? Because if you can't find something because it's shoved in a closet, you go buy another one. And then you realize, oh my gosh, I have 3 of these. My ex-mother-in-law back in the day, she asked me to go get her spatula her ladle. And this was, I think, for Thanksgiving or Easter. And so I went in the kitchen and I found 7. And I brought them out to her. I said, here. And she's like, oh, okay. She didn't realize she had 7 ladles. And that's the thing, is that when we can't find something, we go buy another one. Thinking, well, maybe I decluttered it. Maybe I got rid of it. I just can't find it, but I need it, so I'm going to go buy one. It robs you of your time because you're looking for it. You're moving things around. If you have to open a cabinet and shuffle things around for 3 minutes to get the things that you want and then close the door, you just wasted 3 minutes. Where if you had it decluttered, you open that door, you grab the thing, you close it takes you 30 seconds. So today, this week, give yourself permission to declutter one thing. And if you're interested in joining us for the next virtual decluttering day, click the link in the show notes. You can go to florasage.com, click on the virtual decluttering day. I have it several places on my website. And really, truly allow yourself to recognize all the types of clutter that are robbing you of a life that you absolutely love. And I'll share these with you again. Environmental clutter. This is all the stuff that's around you. Your body clutter, your mental and emotional clutter, your digital clutter and hoarding, your daily clutter. This is your to-do list, your silent to-do list, all the things that occupy your time, and your financial clutter. So I hope that this serves you. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these decluttering episodes here and how it applies to your 1 degree shift, how it applies to really having a life that you're excited about, because that's why I'm here. I am here to help you create the clarity in your life, the clarity of what you actually want. And through that clarity, help you gain the courage to take that next step forward. And when you take that next step forward, what happens is then you get the confidence to keep going. And that is my jam. That is what I absolutely freaking love to do. Oh my goodness. So it's all about that 1 degree shift, that one tiny, small baby action every single day. I hope you can join us for our upcoming virtual decluttering day. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. The links mentioned in today's podcast episode are in the show notes.